Hey, you guys, it's Jen Tarrant, and this is the very first episode of my new YouTube show. And this show is called Iridescent Dragonflies, and the focus is building strength and balance for mind and body. So, of course, you're still going to see all kinds of yoga stuff from me and Ayurvedic tools and things like that. And I'm going to specifically focus on this show building that strength and balance for mind and body. So we will do a lot of emotional balancing, we'll do some support for mental health, and all the while keeping our body moving while we do that. So I'm really excited to get this started. And sometimes you'll see me here in just regular clothes, talking to you about some topics, and other times we'll put on our yoga tights and get moving and do some yoga poses together too. But either way, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm so glad that you've joined me for this very first episode. And today we're going to be talking about midwinter motivation. And here we are, it's kind of mid to late January. And this is a time when sort of the hype and excitement of the new year is kind of starting to wane. Maybe you're feeling a little sluggish. You may start to be feeling like the focus on New Year's resolutions and all of those great things we get started at the beginning of the year, starting to falter a little bit. And so I wanted to give some ideas, some tips, some techniques for keeping that motivation up. We still have a few more weeks left of probably cold weather, depending on where you are. And so sometimes we need a little bit of help keeping ourselves energized and motivated. And so that is our topic for today. And I'm so happy you're here. I did want to take a moment to talk about some upcoming events before we get too deep into our topic. I have a couple of workshops coming up. The first one is called Life After Loss, and it's a workshop on grief and grieving and how do we move forward after losing something or someone significant. Loss does not always mean losing someone close to us, although that is something definitely that we have to really work through and need some support for, but it can also be loss for a job, loss for a situation, a relationship, a pet. There's so many ways we experience loss. And in this workshop, Carolyn and I are going to be walking that journey with you and providing some information and also some tools and techniques to help make that journey a little bit, I don't know if easier is the right word, but some support for that journey. And that is happening online on February 25th from 5 to 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time. And you can find the link to get more information and register for that in the notes of this show. The next one is a chakra balancing workshop, and that one is taking place live and in person at Journey Beyond, a holistic center in Scottsdale. That one is on February the 26th at 10 a.m. Also Mountain Time, and you can find the registration details for that in the notes as well. And then the final one is a 12-week transformation, and this one is called Create Your Balanced Life, Spring Edition, and it is all about transforming mind and body with the wisdom of yoga and Ayurveda. And if that sounds intriguing to you, 12 weeks, a couple sessions a week, really digging in and helping to bring balance for your mind and body, particularly with the challenges of spring in mind. I'd love to see you there. And of course, you can find a link to that as well in the notes. All right, so let's jump right in. It's midwinter, and some of the days are probably still really cold. Maybe we're starting to see a little bit more sunshine on some of the days too. Or it could even be starting to get into a lot of precipitation, snow or rain or ice or whatever is happening where you are. And so that can really cause us to feel kind of low. And so my very first one is probably the hardest one to take. And sorry about that, but it's the one that starts off our day. And the one that I recommend is get up before 6 a.m. I know that's tough. It doesn't sound like a lot of fun. You can check out, I'm not sure which corner it's going to show up in, but this video on how to get that into practice. But there is really something to be said for our circadian rhythms and the doshic clock, if you've studied much Ayurveda, about the benefits of getting up before 6 o'clock in the morning and how much more energy our body has and how much more ready we are to jump into our day. So I do highly recommend it. Check out that video if you want a little bit more information about that. But I nearly can promise you that you will feel better. I tell you, I was hesitant at first too. The first time someone described to me this idea and asked me to give it a try, I was like, oh no, I don't get up at 5 anything. And so they said, how about 5:55? And I was like, I mean, that's almost 6 o'clock. Fine, I can do 5 minutes. And I was amazed at the difference it made. So even if you're only a teensy bit curious about this one, I would love for you to check it out. Give it a try. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Then the next thing I have to recommend is essential oils. You guys, I mean, essential oils, of course, I'm sure you've heard of them. You've probably used some. And when we use the essential oils, they can have all kinds of great benefits to us, right? When we use them in concert with some of our moods and emotions and things like that, these smells, I mean, when we think about them, the aromas themselves elicit memories and things, right? When we smell something like a fresh citrus, it reminds us of peeling open an orange and how invigorating and energizing that is. And so citrus oils are awesome to support us feeling energized and motivated. So you could think about any of those. You could use, orange or lemon or lime, any of them that really appeal to you. And if you like blends, one of my favorites is called Citrus Bliss. And another one is called Motivate. And that one obviously fits right in with Midwinter Motivation. And those oils can help to support us in feeling those great feelings that we feel when we peel open that citrus fruit, when we smell sort of a little bit of a minty smell or something like that. And it makes us feel energized and awake and alert. And these can be great. Of course, you've probably seen diffusers. One of my favorite things, I'll show you guys this. I love this little warmer. So I don't have anything going right now, but in here we put a tea light, and then in the top bowl, a little bit of water and a couple of drops of oil. And this is a nice little warmer to do the oils. And I just have it sitting right up here on my desk, and I use it quite a bit. And it's lovely, right? I get the aroma, I have the candle burning, and it's a really lovely way to bring myself a little comfort while I'm doing my work, but also depending on what oils I choose, it can be really energizing too. Let's take a little bit of a break. I also want to talk a little bit about the dragonflies. So if you've known me for very long, or you've seen maybe some of my stuff on Instagram or Facebook, you'll notice that there's a lot of dragonflies in the pictures and in the logo and all of those things. And there's a reason behind the dragonflies. When I very first started providing holistic coaching, Ayurvedic lifestyle coaching, private yoga, all of those things, I called the business, I named it Iridescent Dragonflies, because of the fact that dragonflies really represent transformation. And I picked iridescent, even though it's impossible to spell, because I loved that idea of all of the colors that you see in a dragonfly's wings and how many colors dragonflies themselves come in, right? There's blue ones and red ones and orange ones and yellow ones and green ones and purple ones. And there's so many different colors. And I loved that idea of sort of this full color transformation. And depending on if you look at it in the light this way, or you look at it in the light that way, you may see variations in the color. And that's how we are, right? We are multifaceted. We have lots of colors. We even talk about things like our emotional and mood experiences with colors, right? Like I was feeling blue, or I was seeing red, or I was green with envy, or something like that. And so colors really kind of speak to us a lot when we start to think about that inner part of our health and wellness and all of those things. And so that's why I originally picked them. And the little dragonfly tidbit for today is that dragonflies sort of represent letting go of unproductive illusions that are holding progression back. And I like this quality of sort of the folklore around dragonflies because it's so often these illusions that either we've adopted or believed or even created that keep us from progressing forward, from accomplishing our goals, from feeling well, from doing our best. And so in this midwinter motivation theme, we might be battling some of those things, right? We might have these illusions. Maybe we think, oh, I can never stick with my resolution, or I always, fall back and fall off the wagon, and I, stop my daily routines or my exercise, or I started making some healthier food choices and now I quit. Or we have this sort of negative talk in our mind, and that's an illusion. Those things are not necessarily true, right? Just because it's been in the past doesn't mean that that's our future, that's for sure. And so we can choose new things. We can let go of those illusions, and we can start to make that forward progress that we're looking for, that we want, that's our desire. And so as we take this wisdom from something as simple and beautiful and delicate and intricate as the dragonfly, I hope that we can find that to be sort of a little spark to remind us. So if you see a dragonfly, or if you see a picture of a dragonfly, if you see the logo, whatever, then I hope that it reminds you that illusions are illusions, that we can let them go and we can continue forward with the progress we desire. All right, so the last tip I have for today is called move your body. And I know that is not like a big news flash, right? Whenever we move our body, we feel more motivated. And one of the reasons is because it builds up our internal heat. I don't know about you guys, but I am perpetually cold in the wintertime. In my cup, I know this looks like it's probably cool water. It's actually hot water or warm because I'm always cold. And so when I'm drinking my water throughout the fall, when it starts to get cool throughout the winter, I choose warm to hot water because it helps me stay warm from the inside. Otherwise, I'd be all bundled up, even though I'm inside my house with a scarf on and my fuzzy slippers and all of those things, because I would just be cold standing here. And so when we move our body, we build up that internal heat. We also wake up our mind, right? Like if we were to stand here and do 10 jumping jacks all of a sudden, our heart rate would be raised, our body would feel warmer, our mind would feel alert. It doesn't have to be that explosive. We could simply do some flowing breaths, reaching up with our inhale, releasing hands down with our exhale, and feel that movement in our arms. If we've been typing away all day, that probably feels pretty fantastic, actually. And so whenever we move our body, it brings in that warmth. It's a great way to get our mind sort of out of whatever, like maybe we were laser focused, or maybe we were trudging through emails, like delete, delete, delete. And so when we move our body, even just a little, just standing at the desk or sitting at the desk, getting a little bit of movement in, maybe we even do some opening up through the front of the body and get those shoulders back, because we tend to hunch when we work at the desk. That's a great way. Something really simple like that. Even more, if we want to take that a step further, if we're getting up earlier now anyway, what are we going to do at that time? Maybe put on the tennis shoes and go out for a walk, go out for a run, maybe head out to yoga class before work gets started, or head to the gym if that's more your thing. It's a great way to get the day started. It helps us to feel energized, alive. We feel productive already right from the get-go, which is really helpful once we kind of get the ball rolling, to feel like we've got our day going. it's easier to follow through with that. Another time we could do that, which would be helpful as we move into our evening. Maybe we have a little extra work we have to do in the evening, or we want to bring energy home to our family or whoever we share our home with, rather than kind of sludging in the door and being like, I'm home from work. If we want to come in with something a little more interesting and feel a little more energized, why not do some of that movement after work and before we really move into home life? So we could hit the gym or the yoga class before we walk in the door, or we could come in the door, immediately change into some different clothes that feel good for walking or running outside, and take even just a few minutes to walk around the block. Or if you really want to get after it, maybe extend that time a little bit longer and go for a longer walk or run. So moving our body, that's going to help us create some space in the afternoon between our work and our home life. We can show up in a motivated, energized sort of way for our family, for our pets, for our friends, whomever we share our time with in the evenings, if we give ourselves that little bit of a break and an energizing break. So to sum it all up, try getting up prior to 6 a.m., even if it's only 5 minutes. You guys, I promise that 5 minutes makes all the difference in the world. If you're interested in essential oils that smell energizing and help us to feel a little more motivated, citrus ones, orange, lemon, lime, citrus bliss, motivate blend, and then moving our body, walking, running, gym, yoga, a few flowing arms with the breath at the desk or opening up the chest. And those are going to be some great ways to kind of keep us moving forward and not feel like we get stalled out here at the end of January. All right, so that's it. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad you're here, and I will see you guys next week, same time, same place. Until then, bye for now.